Good morning, children. We are starting with a new chapter, that is final accounts. In your book, final accounts is divided into two chapters. One is final accounts and another one is final accounts with adjustments. So, in this chapter, we are discussing without adjustments, that is only final accounts. So, this is part 1 of the video. Let us begin with the meaning of final accounts. After preparing journal, ledger, and trial balance, the businessman wants to know or ascertain the profit earned or loss suffered during the year and also the financial position of the business at the end of the year. Final accounts refers to the final statements of accounts prepared in order to ascertain and report the result of the financial activities of a business. For this purpose, he or the businessman prepares final accounts, which are also termed as financial statements. So basically, final accounts are prepared after preparing your journal, ledger, trial balance, etc. These are basically prepared to know the financial activities, the result of the financial activities in a business. Means what is the result of purchasing, sales, etc. And final accounts are also termed as financial statements. So here, why we are discussing this chapter, we in this chapter we are just going to discuss the formats of different financial statements, and also we'll be discussing the questions only on the basis of the format, but in depth we'll be doing the chapter when we do start with the final accounts with adjustment chapter. So these financial statements include three statements. Number 1 is trading account, number 2 is profit and loss account, and number 3 is balance sheet. So we'll be discussing each of these three in detail with the meaning, objective, rules, and the format. Let us begin with the trading account first. Now, trading account, as if you remember the accounting cycle, trading account is prepared immediately after the preparation of trial balance. And we have also discussed the objective beforehand, that trading account is prepared to ascertain the gross profit or gross loss over a particular period of time. So as you can read, trading account is prepared for calculating the gross profit or gross loss arising or incurred as a result of the trading activities of a business. That means whatever the normal course of business or whatever the normal earning activity of a business is. So by performing those trading activities, buying and selling activities, whatever the gross profit or gross loss is earned, in order to ascertain that, trading account is prepared. For example, for a furniture dealer, buying and selling of furniture will be considered as a trading activity. So whatever gross profit or gross loss he has ascertained by selling and purchasing the furniture, that will be ascertained by preparing a trading account. It is prepared to show the result of manufacturing, buying and selling of goods, and we know that goods means those items purchased for the purpose of resale. Basically the items in which the business trades or deals in. So trading account is prepared to know the gross profit and gross loss, and also to show the result of manufacturing, buying and selling of goods. Number 2, if the amount of sale exceeds the amount of purchase and the expenses directly connected with such purchases, the difference is termed as gross profit. So when either the business can have gross profit or it can have gross loss, either of these two, only one will be there. So gross profit will happen when the sales of the business is more than the purchase. Obviously we have discussed purchase means the purchase of goods. So whenever the amount of sale exceeds the amount of purchases, and the direct expenses means those expenses which are directly related to trading or production. So in that case, the amount by which the sales increases or exceeds the amount of purchase and direct expenses, that excess amount will be known as gross profit. On the contrary, if the purchase and direct expenses exceed the sales, reverse, vice versa, then the excess of purchase and direct expenses over and above the sales will be considered as gross loss. Number 3, in other words, trading account includes all the purchases of raw materials and all the direct expenses, that is, the expenses which can directly be associated with a particular product or job or process. So, trading account basically includes all the purchase related to goods, purchase of goods, and all the direct expenses, means those expenses which are related to a particular product or job or process, basically which can directly be associated with production. Now, definition according to J.R. Bartley Boy. According to J.R. Bartley Boy, the trading account shows the results of buying and selling of goods. In preparing this account, the general establishment charges are ignored and only the transactions in goods are included. That means, according to J.R. Bartley Boy, the trading account shows the result, means the gross profit or gross loss as a result of buying and selling of goods, means those items which are purchased for resale. And also, in preparing this account, only those expenses are taken which are related to goods or production or trading, and all those charges which are indirectly related, like general charges, establishment charges, setting up of business charges, etc., those are not the part of trading account. So, as you can see, sometimes a trading account is also called goods account. Why? Because it includes all the transactions related to goods. So, sometimes trading account is also known as goods account because all the transactions relating to goods are recorded in it, such as the opening stock. Already we have discussed these terms in the basic terminology chapter. It includes opening stock, purchase, purchase return, sales return, closing stock, expenses incurred on manufacturing of goods, expenses incurred on purchasing and bringing the goods to the trading place. All such expenses are summarized and recorded in trading account at the end of the year. So we can conclude that in trading account we include or we record all the transactions which are related to goods, whether it be the stocks, purchases, returns, sales, or the direct expenses. Now, the objective, need, and importance. It can be written as objective, it can be written as need, it can be written as importance, anything. It can be asked or it can be written as. So, objective, need, or importance of preparing a trading account. Why is it prepared? Number one, it provides information about gross profit and gross loss, that we know that trading account is prepared to ascertain the gross profit and gross loss of a business. Number two, it provides information about the direct expenses, obviously because all the direct expenses are recorded in trading account, therefore trading account is prepared so as to calculate the direct expenses. Number 3, comparison of closing stock with those of the previous years. So, since we record the closing stock in the trading account, therefore trading account helps us to compare the closing stock of different years. And lastly, it provides safety against possible losses. Why? Because obviously by preparing trading account we know what are the losses or when are the losses or how much is the loss, so we can take actions accordingly and we can control basically. Now the preparation of trading account. Now trading account, see, if the word account is attached, you need to remember that any account will have two sides of amount. That is, one side will be the debit side and the one side will be the credit side. So debit side will be on your left hand side and credit side will be on your right hand side. So in the trading account, debit side will record all the expenses, purchases and the opening stock, and credit side will record all your direct incomes and closing stock. So items written in the debit side of the trading account. Number 1, opening stock or opening inventory. Inventory is also termed as stock. So the very first item which is written on the debit side of the trading account is opening stock or opening inventory. It includes the opening stock of raw material, opening stock of semi-finished goods, and opening stock of finished goods. This we have learned already in the basic terminology chapter, that stock can be of three types: raw material, stock of semi-finished goods, and stock of finished goods. So opening stock of all these type of goods will be recorded on the debit side of the trading account. Number 2, purchase and purchase returns. Purchase returns is also known as return outwards. So purchase will include both the cash as well as the credit purchase. So that means we will be writing total purchases on the debit side of the trading account. Total purchase means cash purchase as well as the credit purchase. And any amount of purchase return, that means if any goods purchased has been returned to the supplier, so that will be shown as a deduction from the amount of total purchases. That means on the debit side it will be shown as a deduction. That means it will be deducted from the amount of total purchases, and then we will get the amount of net purchase. So basically net purchase means purchases minus purchase return. Then the third item which is shown on the debit side of the trading account is the direct expenses. And as we have discussed just now, that expenses which can directly be attributed or associated or allocated to a particular job or process, means any expense which can directly be associated with a particular job, that yes, it is related to such and such production process. For example, wages, carriage inward, freight inward, manufacturing expenses, stores consumed. Stores here means the basic materials consumed. Dock charges means the shipping charges. Royalty is basically paid when we when we use somebody's property, etc. So all these expenses which are directly related to production, these expenses are direct expenses, and these are shown on the debit side of the trading account, because we have already in the double entry system we have already learned the rule that all the expenses carry a debit balance, and therefore carriage, and very important point, carriage inward and freight inward will be a part of trading account. Why am I specifying on the word inward? Because there may be carriage outward or freight outward. So any outwards will be carriage outward or freight outward will be a part of the profit and loss account and not trading account. So these are the items which are shown on the debit side of the trading account. Now there are certain notes which you need to remember. Number 1, if the expenses is given as wages and salaries. Now remember one thing, children. If expense is given as wages, so wages is considered to be a direct expense and it will be shown on the debit side of trading account. And if the word salary is given, so salary is regarded as an indirect expense and it will be shown on the debit side of the profit and loss account. But if the expenses is given as wages and salary combined, then in that case the emphasis has to be laid on the first word, that is wages, and then therefore it will be shown on the debit side of the trading account. So whenever it is given separately, then wages will be a part of the debit side of trading account and salary debit side of profit and loss account. But if they are given as a combined item altogether, then you have to focus on the first word, whether wages and salary is given or salaries and wages is given. So if the first word is wages, we will assume that more amount of wages is a part of it, so therefore it will be shown on the debit side of the trading account. But as you can see the second point, on the contrary, if the expenses is given as salaries and wages, that means the first word is salary, then emphasis should be given to the first word, that is salaries, and it will be therefore be shown on the debit side of the profit and loss account. Point number 3, as we were discussing, that carriage inward will be shown on the debit side of the trading account, because carriage means any expense which is involved in carrying goods from one place to another. So carriage inward means the carriage on the goods purchased for bringing the goods in the business, and we'll be bringing the raw materials, and raw materials we are bringing for production. So therefore carriage inward is regarded as a direct expense, and therefore it will be shown on the debit side of the trading account, whereas carriage outward will be shown on the debit side of the profit and loss account. Why? Because carriage outward means the amount which we have spent to transfer the goods from the business to somewhere else, and from the business we will be definitely transferring the finished goods for sales. So that means that is not related to production, and therefore carriage inward will be shown on the debit side of trading account, and carriage outward will be shown on the debit side of the profit and loss account. If the word carriage is given without the words inward or outward, if carriage inward, trading account debit side; if carriage outward, profit and loss account debit side. But if the word carriage is given, means only carriage, no inward or outward is mentioned, then it will be shown on the debit side of the trading account, assuming it to be a direct expense. That means if in the absence of any information regarding whether the carriage is inward or outward, we will assume it to be a carriage inward and will show it on the debit side of the trading account. Same goes with freight inward. Point number 4, freight inward or freight on goods. Obviously goods means amount purchased for resale, right? Goods or things purchased for resale. So freight inward or freight on goods will be shown on the debit side of the trading account, whereas freight outward or freight on assets, that means if you are purchasing any asset, and we know asset are purchased for using in the business and not resale, will be shown on the debit side of the profit and loss account. And if the word freight is given without the words inward or outward, or on goods or on assets, then it will be shown on the debit side of the trading account, assuming it to be a direct expense. So either it is carriage inward or freight inward or freight on goods, it will be a part of debit side of trading account. If carriage outward or freight on asset, will be a part of debit side of profit and loss account. But if carriage or freight is given without the word inward, outward, on assets or on goods, then it will be assumed to be a direct expense and will be shown on the debit side of the trading account. So since till now we have discussed the items to be shown on the debit side, now we are starting with the items to be written on the credit side of a trading account. So as you can see, on the credit side, we have to record the direct incomes and the closing stock. So the number one item which will be shown on the credit side is sales and sales return, which is also known as return inwards. So it will include, again just like purchase, sales on the credit side will also include both the cash and the credit sales, and the amount of sales return or return inwards will be shown as a deduction from the amount of total sales. That means if there is any amount of sales return or return outwards, return inwards basically, it will be deducted from the amount of total sales so as to get the amount of net sales. That means net sales is equals to total sales minus sales return. The second item which will be shown on the credit side of the trading account will be closing stock or closing inventory. And just like opening stock, closing stock will also include closing stock of raw materials, closing stock of semi-finished goods, and closing stock of finished goods. Now again there are some notes. Note number 1, as you can see, closing stock is generally given outside the trial balance because its evaluation is made after the accounts have been closed. It is incorporated in the book by means of the following entry, that is closing account debited to trading account. When the above entry is passed, the closing stock account is opened. On the one hand, it will be posted on the credit side of the trading account, and on the other hand, it will be shown on the asset side of the balance sheet in order to complete the double entry. So in a nutshell, point number 1 says that mostly, generally, closing stock, the value is given outside the trial balance. That means on the assumption that it has still not been adjusted, it has still not been closed. So in that case, if any item is given outside the trial balance, we need to show it on two places. Firstly, closing stock will be shown on the credit side of the trading account, and secondly, it will be shown on the asset side of the balance sheet if and only if closing stock is given outside the trial balance. And point number 2 says that sometimes, very rarely, it can happen that closing stock is given inside the trial balance. So it implies that closing stock is already adjusted, and in that case it will be shown only and only at one place, that is on the asset side of the balance sheet, and then in that case it will not be a part of the trading account. So second point says sometimes closing stock is given inside the trial balance. This will mean that the entry to incorporate the closing stock in the book has already been passed. It implies that the closing stock must have been deducted out of purchase account, and hence in such a case closing stock will not be shown in the trading account but will appear on the asset side of the balance sheet only. So as I told you, and in a nutshell, just to summarize, if closing stock is given outside the trial balance, it will be shown at two places: firstly credit side of the trading account, and secondly asset side of the balance sheet. On the other hand, if closing stock is given inside the trial balance, it will be shown only at one place, that is on the asset side of the balance sheet, and it will not be a part of the trading account in that case. Now let us discuss the format of a trading account. Very important, just like bank reconciliation statement, here also you have to mention the date on which you are preparing this, and you will be writing format of a trading account, and under this beneath you will write for the year ending. So the date will be given in the question, and this is basically the end of the accounting year. For the year ending 31st March 2014, 31st March 2016, like that. And it is very important to write, because if you do not write this, your marks will be deducted. And since I told you that in case of an account there will be two sides or two columns of amounts, left hand side will be the debit side, DR, and right hand side will be the credit side, CR. And since we have not discussed the chapter ledger as of now, so therefore just in a nutshell I'm explaining you that whatever we write on the debit side of an account, we start with the word to, and whatever we write on the credit side of an account, we start with the word by. So therefore, whatever items are shown on the debit side of a trading account, they are starting with the word to, TO, and whatever items are shown on the credit side, they are starting with the word by. That is a rule basically, BY. So on the debit side, as we have already discussed, we will be showing opening stock, we will be showing the purchase minus purchase returns or return outward, and all the direct expenses. And on the credit side, we will be showing buy sales minus sales return or return inwards, and closing stock. And after comparing the debit and the credit side, if the credit side is more than the debit side, that means income is more than the expense, then it will be a profit, which will be a balancing figure on the debit side. And if the debit side is more than the credit side, then that means expenses are more than incomes, and then in that case it will be a gross loss, which will be written as a balancing figure on the credit side, and any gross loss or any gross profit will be transferred to the profit and loss account. So on the debit side you can see two opening stock, two purchases minus purchase return or return outwards, two wages and salaries, because here combined it is given, so we have laid the emphasis on the first word wages, then two direct expenses, then to carriage, because inward outward is not mentioned, then to carriage inward, to carriage on purchase, to gas, fuel, power, to freight and cartage, to manufacturing expenses or productive expenses, to factory expenses such as factory lighting, factory rent, etc., to dock charges and clearing charges, to import duty or custom duty, to royalty. So these are the direct expenses which will be shown on the debit side of a trading account. On the credit side you can see buy sales less or minus sales return or return inwards, then buy closing stock. And after comparing the debit and the credit side, if the debit side is more than the credit side, then it will be a gross loss, and gross loss will be a balancing figure, means the figure by which both the sides will become equal. So that we have shown as by gross loss, if any, transferred to profit and loss account, and in bracket we have written balancing figure. On the other hand, if credit side is more than the total of credit side is more than the total of debit side, then it will be a gross profit. So it will be shown on the debit side, and at the last you can see as the last item, to gross profit transferred to PL account or profit and loss account, and in brackets balancing figure. And ultimately the total of both the sides will be equal. So I hope the format of trading account is clear to you children. You need to remember which are the expenses to be considered as direct expenses and which are indirect expenses. That is very, very important, because direct expenses will be a part of trading account and indirect expenses will be a part of profit and loss account. Then again, various notes to remember. Number 1, in the heading of the trading account, the words for the year ended with the date are useful because it closes the position of the business and for the full accounting year and not at a particular point of time. It is very important, as I already told you, you have to write the sentence for the year ended along with the date. That is very important because that shows for which accounting year you are preparing the trading account. Number 2, no separate column for date is prepared in the final accounts because the date will be already mentioned in the heading itself. Because trading account we do not prepare on daily or monthly basis. It is prepared at the end of the financial year. So therefore there is no point in making the date column separately, because it is obvious that it is maintained at the end of the accounting year, which you have already written on the top for the year ended along with the date. Point number 3, no column for LF. LF basically means ledger folio, ledger page number. So no column for LF is prepared in final accounts because these are prepared from trial balance and not from ledger account directly. So therefore no ledger folio column is prepared in case of trading account or any final account, even profit and loss account. Then point number 4, adjusted purchases. The formula for adjusted purchases is net purchases plus opening stock minus closing stock. So basically sometimes in the question, in a short question, you may be given the information and you may be asked to calculate adjusted purchases. So the formula for adjusted purchases, net purchases, net purchase means purchase minus purchase return plus opening stock minus closing stock. Then point number 5, cost of goods sold. That means the goods which you have sold, what is the cost of producing it. So the formula for cost of goods sold, there are two formulas, and the formula which you have to apply depends on the information provided to you in the question. So the first formula for cost of goods sold, which is better known as COGS in short, is opening stock plus net purchases. Again, net purchases means purchase minus purchase return plus direct expenses minus closing stock. This is first formula. And the other formula is cost of goods sold, or COGS, is equal to net sales, that is sales minus sales return minus gross profit. So you have to apply the formula depending upon the information given to you in the question. So this is all about trading account. Now we are starting with the profit and loss account. This is another financial statement, other part of final accounts. A profit and loss account is an account which contains all the indirect expenses, losses and indirect incomes and gains pertaining to the accounting period. So we can say all those expenses, incomes, etc., which were not recorded in trading account are recorded in profit and loss account. Direct expenses and incomes are recorded in trading account, and all the indirect expenses, losses, indirect incomes and gains for an accounting year or period are recorded in profit and loss account. It is an account which contains all gains and losses so collected in order to ascertain the excess of gains over the losses or vice versa. So basically these are prepared to ascertain the net profit or net loss. That means gross profit, gross loss we have already calculated, that is from the trading activity. Now from non-trading activity, that means all together including the trading as well as the non-trading activity, what is the net amount of profit or loss that will be ascertained with the help of profit and loss account. So as you can read, a profit and loss account is prepared to know the net profit or net loss of a business for a particular accounting period. Now the need or importance or objective of preparing profit and loss account. Number one, as we know, it helps us to ascertain the net profit or net loss. Number two, it helps in comparing it with previous year's profit, means comparing the current year profit with the previous year's profit. Number three, it helps in controlling the expenses, because by preparing profit and loss we get to know where are we spending money, what are our expenses, what are our incomes, so we can keep a control on our expenses. And number four, it is helpful in the preparation of balance sheet. Why? Because we know we have already done the accounting cycle, and we know that after profit and loss account only we can prepare the balance sheet. So it helps in the preparation of the balance sheet. Now the preparation of profit and loss account. Profit and loss account is started with the amount of gross loss or gross profit brought down from the trading account. Very, very important. Just now we have studied the trading account, and we have studied that as a balancing figure of the trading account we get to know the gross profit or gross loss, which is transferred to the profit and loss account. So the very first item which will be shown in the profit and loss account will be the amount of gross profit or gross loss as brought down from the trading account. Then thereafter, as such, all those expenses and losses which have not been debited to the trading account now will be debited to the profit and loss account. These expenses include all the indirect expenses, such as administrative expenses, means related to office staff, etc., selling expenses related to sales, and distribution expenses, transportation, etc. So these expenses are called indirect expenses. Indirect expenses basically are the expenses which are not directly related to production. It includes the administrative expenses, the selling expenses, and the distribution expenses. Then profit and loss account is a nominal account. Nominal account we have already discussed in the double entry system chapter, and as such all the expenses and losses are shown on the debit side, because we know the golden rule of the nominal account. The golden rule of nominal account says that debit all expenses and losses and credit all incomes and gains. So therefore all the expenses and losses will be debited or will be posted on the debit side of the profit and loss account, and all the incomes and gains will be shown on the credit side of the profit and loss account. Now the items which are to be written on the debit side of the profit and loss account. So the first item which will be written on the debit side of the profit and loss account will be the amount of gross loss, if any, brought down from the trading account. Number two, office and administrative expenses. Some, for example, salary of office employees, office rent, office lighting, postage, printing charges, legal charges, audit fee, etc. Number three, selling and distribution expenses, means expenses related to sales and distribution, such as advertisement charges, commission, carriage outwards, because inward is shown in trading account. Bad debts, basically it's a loss related to sales, packing charges, etc. And number four, miscellaneous expenses, means mixed, such as interest on loan, interest on capital. Obviously when we say interest paid on loan, interest paid on capital, repair charges, depreciation, that is reduction in the value of fixed tangible assets, charity, etc. So these are the items to be written on the debit side of the profit and loss account. Now items to be written on the credit side of the profit and loss account. So very first item will be gross profit, if any, brought down from the trading account. So very simple, if the trading account shows the gross loss, it will be shown on the debit side, because debit all losses. And if the trading account shows gross profit, then it will be shown on the credit side, because credit side records all gains. And number two, other indirect, basically incomes here means the indirect incomes and gains, such as income from investments, commission received, rent received, discount received, interest received, dividend received, etc. Again, certain important notes which you need to remember. Number one, if the credit side of the profit and loss account exceeds that of the debit side, obviously if the credit side is more than the debit side, it means the incomes are more than the expenses. So therefore the difference will be termed as net profit On the other hand, if the debit side is exceeding or it's more than the credit side, then that means expenses are more than the income, so therefore that will be a net loss. Now, any net profit or any net loss will be transferred to capital in the balance sheet. And how will it be transferred? Net profit is added to the capital, whereas net loss is deducted from the capital on the liability side of the balance sheet. Number 2, those expenses which are not related to the business and are not written in the profit and loss account, such as domestic and household expenses of the proprietor, income tax, life insurance premium, etc., because these are the personal expenses of the proprietor. So income tax basically is the tax levied on an income of an individual. So income tax, domestic or household expenses, life insurance premium again is an insurance policy taken against a life of somebody. So these expenses are personal expenses. These are considered as drawings, as we have discussed in the basic terms chapter, and therefore these personal expenses are not related to business, and therefore these will not be shown in the profit and loss account. These will be shown as drawings and will be deducted from capital on the liability side of the balance sheet. Point number 3, only those items of expenses and incomes are shown in the profit and loss account which has not been shown in the trading account. That means basically we can say no direct expenses or direct income will be shown in the profit and loss account. Only the indirect expenses and indirect incomes, gains and losses will be shown in the profit and loss account. Now let us quickly discuss the format of the profit and loss account. The same rule applies here. We'll be writing profit and loss account, and under this we'll be writing for the year ended. Left hand side will be the debit side, right hand side will be the credit side. Whatever we write on the left hand side, we'll start with the word to, and whatever we write on the credit side, we'll start with the word by, by. And since we have discussed that profit and loss account is a nominal account, so therefore debit side we will record all the expenses, and credit side we will record all the incomes and gains. So as you can see, debit side we have already discussed what is to be shown. We have written to gross loss brought down. Brought down here, BD means brought down. That means we are copying it, we are bringing it down from somewhere. And where are we bringing it from? Trading account. And brought down word is very, very important. To salaries, to office rent, rates, taxes, to printing and stationery, to telephone expenses, to postage and telegram, to discount allowed, to insurance, to audit fees, to electricity charges, to repairs and renewals, to depreciation, to advertisement, to carriage outwards, to bad debts, to provision for bad debts, to selling commission, to bank charges, to interest on loans, to loss on sale of assets. So these are basically indirect losses, or we can say indirect expenses and other losses which are to be shown on the debit side of the profit and loss account. And on the credit side, you can see first item has to be the gross profit or gross loss, whichever is brought down from the trading account. On the credit side, we will bring down the gross profit. Now again you can see we have written by gross profit B/D. So B/D stands for brought down. That means we are copying the amount from somewhere. So we are copying the amount of gross profit from trading account, because there we had written gross profit carried down to profit and loss account. So therefore we are bringing it down here. By gross profit brought down, then all the indirect incomes and gains, by discount received, by commission received, by bank interest received, by rent received, by dividend on shares which is received, by interest earned on debentures, by profit on sale on asset, etc. So after putting all the incomes, expenses, losses and gains on their respective sides, we will compare the debit side with the credit side. If the debit side is more than the credit side, it will be a loss, and it will be written as a balancing figure on the credit side, because then only both the sides will be equal. So we will write by net loss transferred to capital, because this loss will be transferred to capital, it will be deducted from capital in the balance sheet. And if credit side is more than the debit side, then in that case it will be a profit As you can see, the last item on the debit side, because it will be balancing both the side, because of this amount both the sides will become equal, so we will write to net profit transferred to capital, because this amount of net profit will be added to the capital, and there will be only one thing, either it will be a net loss or it will be a net profit. And after this, putting up the amount of net profit or net loss, both the debit and the credit side will become equal. So I hope the format of the profit and loss account and the trading account is clear to you, children. Now let us discuss the topic operating profit and net profit. There can be two types of profit, operating profit and net profit. Operating profit is the profit earned through normal operating activities of the business. It is arrived at by deducting the operating expenses from the gross profit. So basically, operating profit means normal profit which is related to the operating activities, the normal business activity of a business. And how do we get operating profit? The formula can be gross profit minus operating expenses. That means by deducting operating expenses from the gross profit, we get the amount of operating profit. Expenses which are related to the main or normal activities of the business are called operating expenses. So when we deduct operating expenses from gross profit, we get to know the amount of operating profit. Now, operating expenses include office and administrative expenses. Now, don't get confused. Operating expenses are not the direct expenses. These are the expenses related to normal day-to-day operating activities of the business. So, operating expenses include office and administrative expenses. As we have discussed, what are these expenses? We have discussed while discussing profit and loss account. And selling and distribution expenses. Format, or basically we can say discount on main, bad debts, etc. Operating profit is also called earning before interest and tax, or EBIT. So operating profit can also be termed as earning before interest and tax, or in short we can say EBIT. Now the amount of net profit. Net profit is arrived at by deducting operating as well as non-operating expenses from the gross profit. When we deduct only operating expenses from the gross profit, it is operating profit. But when we deduct operating as well as non-operating expenses from the gross profit, it becomes the net profit. Expenses which are incidental or indirect to the main operations of the business are called non-operating expenses. Means those expenses which are not related to the normal day-to-day business activities, those expenses are known as non-operating expenses. So when we deduct these expenses also along with the operating expenses from the gross profit, we get the amount of net profit. And they include interest on home loan, expenses for charities, donations, loss on sale of fixed assets, extraordinary losses due to theft, loss by fire, and so on. That means even after deducting the personal expenses and the losses. Similarly, non-operating incomes are added while calculating the net profit. That means to calculate the net profit, we have to deduct operating expenses and non-operating expenses from gross profit, and we have to add non-operating income. Non-operating incomes include receipt of interest for rent and dividend, gain on sale of fixed assets, etc. So this is all about the format and the items of trading account, profit and loss account, and the meaning and examples of different expenses and operating and net profit. So I hope these are clear to you, children. Now this is the assignment which is based on this part. You have to answer the following questions in your register. Question number 1, what do you mean by final accounts? So final accounts, basically you can write the answer. Final accounts are the financial statements which are prepared to ascertain the gross profit, gross loss, net profit, net loss, and financial position of the business. Then what is operating profit? Operating profit is basically the profit ascertained, or it is the profit earned through normal operating activities of the business. Then question number 3, what is meant by indirect expenses? So give 2 examples. So indirect expenses are those examples which are basically you can say indirect expenses are those expenses which are not directly related to a particular production process. For example, office and administrative expenses, selling and distribution expenses, etc. Question number 4, what are the objects or objectives of preparing a trading account? So the objectives can be, you can write any two objectives. For example, it helps in the preparation of profit and loss account, then it helps to ascertain the gross profit or gross loss, then it helps to control the expenses. Any two you can write. Question number 5, what are the objects of preparing profit and loss account? So the objective of preparing profit and loss account is to prepare the balance sheet, or to ascertain the financial position of the business, or to calculate net profit or net loss, or to control the expenses. You can write any 2 points. Then you have to prepare the format of trading account. Question number 6, for this you will prepare this format of trading account as an answer to this question. You can also take the help from the book. Then the next question is, prepare format of profit and loss account. For this you can prepare this format as we have discussed in this video. You can also take the help of your book while preparing the format of profit and loss account. And the last question is, you have to give the formula for calculating cost of goods sold and adjusted purchases. So since you know that we have discussed two formulas of cost of goods sold, so you write both the formulas. Cost of goods sold, first of all, is equal to opening stock plus net purchases. Net purchase means purchase minus purchase return, plus direct expenses minus closing stock. And the second formula for cost of goods sold is, cost of goods sold is equal to net sales minus gross profit, and net sales here means sales minus sales return. Then the formula for adjusted purchases is equal to net purchases, that is purchase minus purchase return, plus opening stock minus closing stock. So these are the questions which you need to answer in your copies, children, in your register. Go through the video once again, revise the meaning and objective of each of the account, and don't forget to revise the format of trading and profit and loss account, and especially the notes, different points to remember, or notes which we have discussed in this video, because those will be helpful while solving the practical questions. And also do go through which expenses come under the direct expenses and indirect expenses, so that you can very well classify and solve the practical questions when we discuss. In the upcoming video, we'll be discussing about balance sheet. So go through the video once again, children, and do complete all the questions in your register. Thank you, children. Take care.